Hey, great question by the subscriber here. Hey, Patrick, we inherited a family home. A family home. Well, what do we do next is the question. Folks, I'm going to teach you there today what to do next with that family home, okay? Is it a dynasty home? Is it a vacation home? Is it a lakefront home? Is it a beach home? We're going to talk about that. Folks, elder law care attorney Patrick Kelleher coming to you from elderlawcare.com. And today's YouTube subscriber has a great question. Hey, Patrick, what are some steps to take when inheriting a family home? Well, what comes to mind is I need more information, and you need to meet with your elder law attorney so they can carefully assess and evaluate all these big considerations and factors there, because the big picture is you want to avoid the four-headed monster in the future. What is that? You want to avoid probate court. So now you're inheriting that home. If you get hit by the bus tomorrow, next week, you don't want that house going off the probate court. So my advice is get it into a new trust. Get it into a trust and make sure you fund that trust. Think of your trust like a treasure chest. Get that home in there. If there's more than one home, get that in there as well, because people die, trusts do not. So when the trust owns that home legally, you can get hit by a bus, sadly, but now your loved ones, successor trustees and beneficiaries can step into your shoes and not get bit by probate. Number two, the tax man. Depending on what state you live in, if you live here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, we still have a death tax. So if you own a home of substantial value and that goes into the value of all your other assets, you got to make sure you have proper tax planning in your trust to avoid or reduce the estate tax to the greatest degree possible. Number three, financial creditors and predators. If you want to pass this family home down now to your descendants, your children, your grandchildren, create this dynasty bloodline trust, you need to do that in a fashion where you're putting that language in your trust. So if you get hit by the bus of life, yeah, you're going to avoid probate. Yeah, you're going to avoid or reduce the estate tax. But now your children and your loved ones, even grandchildren, can step into your shoes as trustees and beneficiaries to keep the house as a dynasty and the family bloodline to the children and grandchildren. So if any of your children or grandchildren are going through times of turmoil, auto accident, divorce, in-laws turned into outlaws, you don't want in-laws turned into outlaws getting a piece of the family home, okay? And that's not automatic. You got to put that language in the trust. And of course, if you're of age, say 60 and over, inheriting that house, you got to be concerned about the fourth-headed monster nursing homes. What if you become completely incapacitated? Do you want the nursing home taking that family home? Probably not. So really important that you get that house maybe into an irrevocable Medicaid trust and then beat out that 5-year look-back period, right? Get that house in there. Now the trust owns it for the benefit of the whole family, and you put all that language in your trust with your experienced elder law attorney, and now you're slaying the four-headed beast right there, folks. A lot of factors to consider and things I mentioned at the beginning of today's educational video. Do you still want to derive rental income out of there? Do you want to avoid capital gains tax? If so, you have to make sure it's a grantor trust under Internal Revenue Code 1014. They get that 1014 step up to make sure that your loved ones are not going to take the original tax basis, what you paid or how you acquired that property. You want them to get the future fair market value of that property. So if they go to resell it, they're going to avoid or reduce significantly capital gains tax as well. A lot of important considerations, other common sense considerations as well. If you're going to move in there full time, make it your primary residence now, remember, if you want to sell it, you're going to pay capital gains tax unless you live there for 2 years of a 5-year period to get that section 121 Internal Revenue Code, section 121 capital gains tax exemption, $250,000 per person that owns that property, or $500,000 for a married couple. But you've got to live there 2 years out of a 5-year period as your principal residence, folks. Really, really important, okay? Folks, of course, remember, you got to pay insurance. Make sure the property is properly insured. And if it's in a flood zone, you got to have flood insurance and all that good stuff. You got to protect for those storms and floods and hurricanes and tornadoes and all that. A lot of things to consider, folks, but long and short of it, meet with an experienced elder law attorney that's going to protect you. Folks, if you found this video helpful, please share it with other individuals that are going to benefit from this information as well. Please click the subscribe button, click the notification bell, because we will keep you updated. Folks, thanks for joining us here today at elderlawcare.com.